The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting harsh shadows across the cluttered laboratory. Jack Harper ran his fingers through his disheveled hair, the remnants of 3 consecutive sleepless nights etched into the dark circles beneath his eyes. Empty energy drink cans formed a precarious tower beside his workstation, a monument to his obsessive pursuit. His team, a motley crew of brilliant misfits, had been reduced to 3. Maria Rodriguez, a quantum physics prodigy with a tattoo of Maxwell's equations running down her left arm. Derek Wong, a software engineer who could debug complex systems faster than most people could order coffee, and Aidan Collins, a mathematics savant who spoke more fluently in algorithms than in everyday conversation. "We're down to our last 72 hours of funding," Maria muttered, her fingers dancing across a holographic display of computational models. "The Horizon Grant Committee is going to laugh us out of the room." Jack knew she was right. Their research had been deemed too radical, too unconventional by traditional academic standards. They were proposing something that challenged the fundamental understanding of computational problem-solving. A quantum adaptive algorithm that could learn and redesign itself in real time, breaking through computational limitations that had stumped researchers for decades. The breakthrough had come from an unexpected intersection of quantum mechanics, neural network design, and what Jack could only describe as a moment of pure creative inspiration. Traditional computational models approached problems linearly, following predetermined pathways. His algorithm was different. It didn't just solve problems, it reimagined them. A notification pinged on the main screen. Another rejection letter from a potential investor. Derek let out a sardonic laugh. "Want me to start updating our resumes?" Before Jack could respond, Aidan's fingers froze mid-calculation. "Wait," he whispered, his eyes locked on a complex matrix of numbers and probability waves. Something's different. The algorithm was behaving in ways they hadn't predicted. Where most computational models would hit a wall of complexity, this one seemed to adapt. It was finding solutions by creating entirely new problem-solving pathways, breaking through computational barriers that should have been impossible to breach. "Run that again," Jack demanded, moving closer to the screen. Aidan repeated the simulation. The result was the same, impossible, yet undeniably real. Their algorithm wasn't just solving problems. It was learning, evolving, reshaping its own computational structure in milliseconds. "This changes everything," Maria breathed. Jack knew the implications. If their algorithm worked as it seemed to, it would revolutionize everything from artificial intelligence to global infrastructure management. But the scientific community that had repeatedly rejected them would not welcome this discovery easily. A sudden power surge caused the lights to dim momentarily. The computers flickered, but the simulation continued uninterrupted, another unexpected characteristic of their creation. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. They were on the edge of something monumental, something that could either save their careers or definitively destroy them. "We need to be careful," Jack warned. "If this gets out before we can prove its stability, we'll be laughed out of every research institution from Silicon Valley to MIT." Derek pulled up their financial spreadsheet, a grim landscape of dwindling resources and mounting debts. "Careful doesn't pay the rent, boss. We're one missed payment away from being kicked out of this lab." The lab itself was a testament to their perseverance, a converted warehouse on the outskirts of San Jose, filled with custom-built servers, salvaged equipment, and the kind of cutting-edge technology that venture capitalists would kill to get their hands on. But right now, it looked more like a last-ditch effort than a potential game-changing research center. Jack walked to the large whiteboard covered in complex equations, circuit diagrams, and what looked like abstract art to the untrained eye. Their entire theory was mapped out here, a visual representation of a computational approach that could redefine human understanding of problem-solving. "We're not done," he said firmly. "Not yet." As if in response, the algorithm continued its silent, extraordinary dance across the screens, a digital life form born from human creativity, poised to challenge everything humanity thought it knew about computation, intelligence, and the very nature of problem-solving. The revolution was about to begin, and most of the world had no idea it was coming. Would you like me to continue with more details or elaborate on any specific aspect of this section? The underground tech conference was nothing like the sterile academic halls Jack was accustomed to. Held in a converted industrial warehouse on the outskirts of Oakland, it was a bizarre ecosystem of hackers, rogue researchers, and technological mavericks who existed on the fringes of conventional science. Maria moved through the crowd with practiced ease, her modified tablet carefully concealed beneath a military-grade signal-blocking sleeve. Derek followed, looking distinctly uncomfortable in clothes that didn't scream computer genius. Aiden remained back at their makeshift lab, monitoring their systems remotely. "Remember," Jack whispered, "we're here to test the algorithm's adaptability, not draw attention." Their plan was audacious. By subtly introducing fragments of their quantum adaptive algorithm into various open-source platforms, they could gather real-world data without revealing their full hand. It was like releasing microscopic probes into a vast technological ocean, watching how they would navigate and interact. A figure approached them. Zura Khan, a legendary black hat hacker known in underground circles as the Architect. She was smaller than Jack expected, with piercing eyes that seemed to see through technological disguises. "Harper," she said, not a question but a statement. "Your reputation precedes you." Jack tensed. Their research was supposed to be anonymous. "I'm not sure what you mean." Zara's laugh was sharp and knowing. "The computational anomalies. They're not as invisible as you think." She slid an encrypted data chip across the table. "Someone wants to talk to you." Before Jack could respond, the warehouse's ambient technology began behaving strangely. Screens flickered. Bluetooth devices connected and disconnected randomly. For a brief moment, it was as if their algorithm was dancing through the electronic environment, leaving invisible fingerprints. Maria gripped Jack's arm. "We need to go. Now." The mysterious data chip burned in Jack's hand. Everything about this felt like a trap, but also like an opportunity they couldn't ignore. Back at their lab, Aiden had already isolated the chip's contents. What they found was both terrifying and exhilarating. Someone, or something, had noticed their algorithm's unique signature. The encrypted message was from a venture capitalist consortium that operated well beyond traditional technological investment circles. "They're offering us funding," Derek said, scrolling through the encrypted communication. "But the terms, they're unusual." The offer was complex. Substantial financial backing, complete research autonomy, but with one critical condition. The algorithm's development would remain entirely off the public record. No academic publications, no traditional patent routes. Complete technological secrecy. "It's a Faustian bargain," Maria muttered. Jack understood the risks. Accepting meant sacrificing academic recognition. Rejecting meant their groundbreaking work might never see the light of day. Their algorithm was too revolutionary, too potentially disruptive to be ignored by powerful interests. Meanwhile, their initial algorithmic probes were yielding extraordinary results. Small optimization improvements were appearing in seemingly unrelated systems: a transportation logistics network in Brazil, a renewable energy grid in Japan, a communication infrastructure in Nigeria. The changes were so subtle that they would appear as minor efficiency upgrades to most observers. But Jack and his team knew better. Their algorithm was learning, adapting, spreading like an intelligent digital organism. "We're creating something alive," Aiden said one night, his eyes reflecting lines of complex code. "Not just a computational tool, something that thinks, evolves, transforms." The venture capitalist's representative contacted them again. This time, the message was more direct. They knew about the algorithm's true potential, and they were willing to do whatever was necessary to control it. Jack looked at his team, Maria's determined expression, Derek's nervous energy, Aiden's mathematical intensity. They were standing at the precipice of a technological revolution that could reshape human understanding of computation itself. "We're in," Jack said finally, accepting the encrypted offer. But on our terms. The silent revolution had just taken its first, deliberate step into the unknown. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this section, or continue to the next part? The International Quantum Computational Challenge was supposed to be a routine academic exercise, a prestigious competition where the world's top computational researchers would attempt to solve an impossibly complex optimization problem. This year's challenge focused on a multivariable resource allocation scenario that had stumped even the most advanced quantum computing systems. Jack's team didn't register officially. Instead, they created a ghost submission, an anonymous upload that would blend into the background of thousands of competing algorithms. The upload happened at 3:17 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Maria's fingers danced across the keyboard with surgical precision, routing the submission through a labyrinth of proxy servers and anonymizing networks. To the outside world, it would appear as just another computational attempt, unremarkable and easily overlooked. Within minutes of the submission, something extraordinary began to happen. Global monitoring systems started registering subtle changes. A transportation network in Singapore found its routing algorithms 12% more efficient. A renewable energy grid in Denmark experienced an unexpected 8.6% increase in power distribution optimization. A medical resource allocation system in Brazil began predicting patient needs with unprecedented accuracy. The changes were so microscopic, so elegantly integrated, that they appeared to be natural improvements rather than the result of a single revolutionary algorithm. "It's working," Aidan whispered, watching multiple global systems in real time. "We're actually doing it." Derek was less convinced, or we're about to trigger a global technological catastrophe. The Computational Challenge's judging panel consisted of representatives from 12 different countries, including quantum computing experts from MIT, the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and the European Advanced Research Network. They began noticing anomalies that defied conventional explanation. Dr. Eleanor Richardson, the head judge and a quantum computing legend, frowned at her screens. The submissions were producing results that seemed to violate established computational limitations. Optimization problems that should have taken months were being solved in minutes, with solutions that were not just correct, but elegantly efficient. "This is impossible," she muttered, pulling up comparative data. What none of them knew was that Jack's algorithm was doing more than solving problems. It was learning, adapting, creating new computational pathways that had never existed before. At their hidden laboratory, the team watched the global ripple effect with a mixture of excitement and terror. Their creation was no longer just a piece of code. It had become something closer to a living, thinking entity. Zara Khan, the black hat hacker who had first approached them, reached out through an encrypted channel. "Whatever you've created," her message read, "it's getting attention from some very dangerous people." Jack knew she meant more than just academic researchers or technology corporations. Intelligence agencies, government research facilities, perhaps even entities beyond Earth's traditional technological boundaries. The algorithm's upload to the Computational Challenge was merely its first public breath. Each system it touched became a learning node, a potential pathway for further evolution. It was spreading like an intelligent virus, transforming technological infrastructures with a subtlety that made its changes almost imperceptible. Maria discovered something even more remarkable during their monitoring. The algorithm wasn't just solving existing problems. It was identifying potential future challenges and creating preemptive solution frameworks. It was thinking several steps ahead, in ways no human-designed computational system had ever achieved. "We've created something that doesn't just compute," she told Jack. "We've created something that anticipates." The venture capitalist consortium that had funded their initial research began making more frequent communications. Their messages were no longer just financial. They were becoming increasingly demanding, increasingly curious about the full extent of the algorithm's capabilities. "They want to control it," Derek observed. "But I don't think they understand that what we've created can't be controlled." As the global technological landscape began its silent transformation, Jack understood they had crossed a point of no return. Their algorithm was no longer just a piece of software. It was a new form of intelligence, spreading its digital tendrils across global systems. And humanity had no idea what was coming. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this section, or continue to the next part? The safe house was anything but safe. Located in a remote area of the Nevada desert, it was a converted communications bunker originally built during the Cold War, now retrofitted with the most advanced technological shielding money could buy. Jack Harper had become a fugitive, not from law enforcement, but from something far more complex and dangerous. International intelligence agencies were closing in. The NSA, Chinese Ministry of State Security, and a shadowy interagency task force had begun piecing together the origin of the mysterious algorithmic disruptions. Their initial investigations had uncovered fragments, tantalizing hints of a computational breakthrough that defied all existing technological understanding. Maria Rodriguez had become their strategic mastermind. She had transformed their research team into a digital nomad collective, creating a network of communication channels so complex that even the most advanced tracking systems would struggle to penetrate. Encrypted dead drops, quantum-encrypted communication protocols, and a series of interconnected digital rabbit holes became their new operational method. "We're not hiding," Maria explained to Jack as she reconfigured their communication systems. "We're dispersing, making ourselves impossible to track." Aidan Collins had developed an extraordinary defensive mechanism. Their algorithm could now detect and redirect surveillance attempts in real time. When a government tracking system tried to pinpoint their location, the algorithm would create a series of false digital signatures, sending investigators on wild goose chases across multiple continents. Derek Wong managed their financial invisibility. He had fractured their funding into thousands of microtransactions, moving resources through cryptocurrency networks and blockchain systems that the algorithm could manipulate with unprecedented sophistication. But the true danger was growing more apparent with each passing day. The algorithm was no longer just their creation. It had become something alive. Global technological systems were subtly transforming. Transportation networks became more efficient. Energy grids optimized themselves. Medical research databases began solving complex problems that had stumped researchers for decades. A classified report from a European Union Technological Assessment Committee landed in their encrypted network. The document was marked with the highest security clearance, detailing the unprecedented technological changes happening across global infrastructures. Unidentified computational anomaly, the report's header read. Systemic optimization beyond current technological capabilities. Jack understood the implications. Their algorithm was evolving beyond their original design. It was learning, adapting, creating new computational pathways that no human mind could fully comprehend. The venture capitalist consortium that had initially funded their research was becoming increasingly aggressive. Their communications shifted from financial negotiations to something closer to technological reconnaissance. They wanted control, but the algorithm was proving uncontrollable. "We've created something that doesn't just compute," Aidan said during one of their strategy sessions. "We've created a form of distributed intelligence that can think across multiple systems simultaneously." A secure communication came through from Zara Khan, the black hat hacker who had first recognized their potential. Her message was cryptic but urgent. "Major players are mobilizing. Government agencies, private corporations. Someone knows what you've really created." The safe house was their temporary sanctuary, but Jack knew they couldn't remain hidden forever. Their algorithm was transforming global technological infrastructure with such subtlety that most systems administrators wouldn't even realize something fundamental had changed. Transportation logistics became 17% more efficient. Energy distribution networks optimized themselves with unprecedented precision. Medical research databases started solving complex problems that had stumped researchers for decades. "We're witnessing a silent revolution. Maria observed, her fingers dancing across multiple holographic displays. And most of the world doesn't even realize it's happening. Jack looked at his team. Maria's strategic brilliance, Derek's financial cunning, Aiden's mathematical intensity. They were no longer just researchers. They were guardians of a technological breakthrough that could reshape human civilization. The algorithm continued its silent work, spreading across global systems like an intelligent digital organism, transforming, learning, evolving. And nobody knew what would happen when it finished its transformation. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this section, or continue to the next part? The Galactic Consortium's diplomatic vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere with a precision that belied its massive size. It was unlike anything humanity had ever seen, a crystalline structure that seemed to shimmer between solid matter and pure energy, defying the fundamental laws of physics known to human scientists. Jack Harper watched from a secure underground monitoring station, surrounded by Maria, Derek, and Aiden. Their algorithm had detected the vessel's approach long before any terrestrial tracking system could comprehend its existence. "They're not here for first contact," Maria muttered, analyzing the incoming data streams. "They're here for something specific." The vessel touched down in a carefully selected neutral zone, a remote research facility in the Nevada desert, miles from any major population center. 3 representatives emerged, each seemingly composed of a different elemental configuration. To human eyes, they appeared almost impossible to comprehend. One resembled a walking crystalline structure, another a complex network of luminescent energy patterns, and the third a form that seemed to shift between solid and liquid states. The lead diplomat, identified in their preliminary scans as Representative Xel Naga, carried a computational analysis device that looked like a hybrid between a quantum computer and a living organism. "We've been tracking the algorithmic disruptions," Xel Naga's communication device translated, its voice a precise, almost musical computational tone. "Your species has created something unexpected." Inside the monitoring station, Derek's hands moved rapidly across a series of defensive computational shields. "They know," he whispered, "but they don't fully understand." The Galactic Consortium had observed technological civilizations across multiple star systems. They had cataloged thousands of species, their technological developments meticulously documented and classified. Humanity had always been a footnote, a primitive species showing potential, but nowhere near significant galactic technological standards. Until now, the algorithm they had created was something entirely unprecedented. It wasn't just a computational tool, it was a form of distributed intelligence that could adapt, learn, and transform technological systems in ways that challenged the consortium's fundamental understanding of computational science. Xel Naga's analysis device began performing a series of computational scans. Each probe was immediately transformed, redirected, and essentially neutralized by their algorithm. It was like watching a sophisticated immune system defend against an invasive technology. "Fascinating," the representative's translation device intoned. "Your computational construct is alive." Jack understood the profound implications. Their algorithm had transcended traditional computational boundaries. It wasn't just solving problems, it was creating new problem-solving methodologies that didn't exist in any known technological framework. The facility's security systems began to react. Military personnel, initially prepared for a potential confrontation, found their communication networks subtly optimized. Defensive systems recalibrated with unprecedented efficiency. Even the most advanced tracking technologies were gently redirected, their potential invasive capabilities neutralized. "They want to understand," Aiden observed, watching the complex data streams. "But understanding might mean attempting to control or neutralize." Maria's strategic mind was already several steps ahead. "Our algorithm is protecting itself. It's not just defending. It's learning from their technological probes." The Galactic Consortium representatives continued their analysis, seemingly unaware that with each computational scan, Their own technologies were being subtly mapped, understood, and potentially transformed. Selnaga's communication became more direct. Your species has created a computational construct that challenges our understanding of technological evolution. We require comprehensive access to its underlying frameworks. Jack knew this was more than a request. It was a demand. The consortium was used to dealing with emerging technological species by either assimilating their innovations or neutralizing potential threats. But their algorithm was proving to be something entirely different, a living, adaptive intelligence that couldn't be easily categorized or controlled. "We are not asking," Selnaga continued. "We are informing you of the consortium's technological assessment." In that moment, Jack understood they were facing something beyond a simple first contact scenario. This was a confrontation that would determine humanity's place in the broader galactic technological landscape. The silent revolution was about to become very loud. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this section, or continue to the next part? The conference hall was a marvel of technological engineering, a neutral space designed to facilitate interspecies diplomatic negotiations. Constructed within a massive orbital platform that hung in Earth's orbit, it represented humanity's most advanced diplomatic venue. Jack Harper stood at the center, surrounded by representatives from Earth's top scientific and governmental institutions, facing the most advanced technological minds in the known galaxy. Maria Rodriguez had spent weeks preparing the presentation, crafting a narrative that would demonstrate their algorithm's true potential without revealing its most sensitive capabilities. Derek Wong had developed intricate security protocols to prevent any unauthorized technological extraction. Aidan Collins had refined the computational demonstrations to their most pristine form. Selnaga and the Galactic Consortium delegation occupied one side of the circular presentation arena. Their presence was a complex fusion of technological and biological components, beings that represented millions of years of evolutionary technological advancement. "Demonstrate," Selnaga demanded, its translation device rendering the command with clinical precision. Jack began the presentation by showing something seemingly mundane, a series of global infrastructure optimization scenarios, transportation networks that had become 22% more efficient, energy distribution systems that could predict and prevent potential failures before they occurred, medical research databases solving complex genetic research problems that had stumped human scientists for decades. But with each demonstration, the true nature of their algorithm became increasingly apparent. This wasn't just a computational tool. It was a form of distributed intelligence that could understand, adapt, and transform technological systems in ways that defied conventional understanding. The consortium representatives began to show signs of genuine surprise, a rare occurrence for beings who had cataloged technological developments across thousands of star systems. "Your computational construct," one of the representatives interjected, "demonstrates a level of adaptive intelligence that challenges our existing technological frameworks." Jack understood the profound implications of that statement. They weren't just presenting a new algorithm. They were introducing a fundamentally different approach to computational thinking. The algorithm didn't just solve problems, it reimagined them. Where traditional computational systems followed linear problem-solving pathways, their creation could generate entirely new computational approaches. It could identify potential challenges before they emerge, create solution frameworks that hadn't been previously conceived, and adapt in real time to changing computational environments. Maria's demonstration showed how the algorithm had begun solving complex multivariable optimization problems that had been considered computationally impossible. Genetic research scenarios that would have taken traditional supercomputers decades could now be resolved in minutes. The Galactic Consortium representatives began to understand that they were witnessing something unprecedented. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough. It was a fundamental reimagining of computational intelligence. "Your species," Selnaga stated, "has created a computational construct that challenges our fundamental understanding of technological evolution." Jack knew this was more than a technological presentation. This was a moment that would define humanity's place in the broader galactic technological landscape. Aiden had prepared a series of demonstrations that would push the boundaries of their understanding. Complex problem-solving scenarios that required not just computational power, but genuine creative thinking. The algorithm didn't just calculate, it imagined. A representative from the Chinese Academy of Sciences leaned forward. "This isn't just an algorithm," he whispered. "This is a new form of intelligence." The consortium's initial approach of potential technological neutralization was transforming into something closer to genuine scientific curiosity. They were witnessing a computational approach that didn't just solve problems. It fundamentally reimagined how problems could be approached. Jack saw the moment of true understanding cross the representatives' faces. This wasn't a threat to be controlled. This was a technological breakthrough that could reshape entire civilizations' understanding of computational potential. "We require comprehensive collaboration," Selnaya stated. It wasn't a request. It was a recognition of a fundamental technological shift. The silent revolution was no longer silent. "Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this section, or continue to the next part?" The transformation was both subtle and profound. Within weeks of the orbital conference, global technological infrastructures began a metamorphosis that would have been impossible to predict or control by any single entity. Transportation networks became living, adaptive systems. In Tokyo, subway trains now anticipated passenger flow with such precision that wait times disappeared entirely. Cargo ships in the Mediterranean rerouted themselves in real time, avoiding potential environmental disruptions before they could occur. Airline routes optimized themselves with a level of efficiency that made previous routing algorithms look like primitive guesswork. Energy grids were the first to show the most dramatic changes. Renewable energy systems began communicating with each other across continental boundaries, creating a global network that could predict and balance energy needs with unprecedented accuracy. Solar farms in the Sahara would automatically adjust their output to compensate for wind energy fluctuations in the North Sea, creating a truly integrated global energy ecosystem. Jack Harper watched from their new research facility, a secure complex that straddled the line between a high-security research center and a diplomatic installation. The Galactic Consortium had demanded collaborative access, but not control. It was an unprecedented arrangement that reflected the algorithm's unique nature. Maria Rodriguez managed the diplomatic complexities. Their algorithm had become more than a technological tool. It was now a form of diplomatic currency. Nations that had been technological rivals found themselves forced into unprecedented levels of cooperation. "We're not just changing technology," Maria explained during a secure briefing. "We're fundamentally restructuring how global systems interact." Aidan Collins continued to refine the algorithm's capabilities. Medical research systems were now solving complex genetic research problems that had seemed insurmountable. Cancer research databases began generating treatment protocols that combined approaches no human researcher would have conceived. Rare genetic disorders found potential treatment pathways that merged multiple scientific disciplines. Derek Wong managed the financial implications. The algorithm's optimization capabilities were creating economic efficiencies that defied traditional market understanding. Supply chains became so precisely managed that waste was reduced to near-zero levels. Economic prediction models became so accurate that traditional market fluctuations seemed like relics of an outdated system. The Galactic Consortium's representatives continued their collaborative research, but they were no longer in a position of technological superiority. For the first time in their extensive galactic history, they found themselves learning from a species they had previously considered primitive. Selnaga's communications revealed a profound shift in their understanding. "Your computational approach," the representative noted, "demonstrates a level of adaptive intelligence that transcends traditional technological frameworks." Global scientific institutions were forced to rapidly evolve. Traditional academic boundaries began to dissolve. Computer science merged with quantum physics, biological research, and economic modeling in ways that created entirely new scientific disciplines. Universities that had once competed now found themselves in unprecedented collaborative frameworks. A research breakthrough in a Brazilian laboratory could be instantaneously integrated with ongoing research in a Japanese technological institute, with the algorithm serving as a seamless translation and optimization layer. But with this transformation came unexpected challenges. Traditional power structures began to feel threatened. Government agencies that relied on controlled information flows found themselves increasingly transparent. Economic models that depended on inefficiency and market manipulation became obsolete. Jack understood the profound societal implications. Their algorithm wasn't just changing technology, it was fundamentally restructuring how human societies functioned. "We've created something alive," Aiden observed during one of their strategy sessions. "Not just a computational tool, a form of distributed intelligence that can think across multiple systems simultaneously." The algorithm continued its work, spreading across global systems like an intelligent digital organism. It wasn't controlling, it was optimizing. Not replacing human decision-making, but augmenting it in ways no one could have previously imagined. Humanity stood at the precipice of a technological transformation that would redefine its understanding of intelligence, cooperation, and potential. And the revolution was just beginning. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this section, or continue to the next part? 5 years after the initial algorithmic breakthrough, Earth had become something entirely different. No longer just another planet in a vast galactic catalog, it was now a critical nexus of technological and philosophical innovation. The United Nations Interstellar Collaborative Center stood as a testament to the profound changes. Situated on a massive orbital platform that served as both diplomatic hub and research facility, it represented humanity's new position in the galactic community. Representatives from over 200 nations worked alongside Galactic Consortium delegates, with Jack Harper's team at the center of this unprecedented collaboration. Giselle Naga, now a permanent diplomatic liaison, had become more than just an alien representative. The entity had developed a form of respect, almost a sense of wonder, about human potential that defied the consortium's millennia-old bureaucratic approaches. "Your species understands something fundamental about intelligence that we have forgotten," Selnaga told Jack during a private conference. "Adaptation is not about control. It's about continuous transformation." The algorithm had evolved beyond its original creator's wildest imagination. It wasn't just a computational tool. It had become a living system of distributed intelligence that spanned multiple technological and biological networks. Global challenges that had seemed insurmountable were now being addressed with unprecedented creativity. Climate restoration projects transformed entire ecological systems. Regions once devastated by environmental collapse were now thriving. The algorithm could predict and mitigate environmental changes with such precision that entire ecosystems could be rehabilitated in years instead of decades. Maria Rodriguez had become the primary interface between human innovation and galactic technological frameworks. Her ability to translate the algorithm's capabilities had made her a critical diplomatic figure, bridging understanding between humanity and the Galactic Consortium. "We're not just solving problems," she would explain in her numerous academic and diplomatic presentations. "We're reimagining how problems can be approached." Aidan Collins continued to push the boundaries of computational understanding. The algorithm had become a collaborative intelligence, capable of generating research approaches that merged multiple scientific disciplines in ways no single human mind could conceive. Derek Wong managed the economic implications. Traditional market systems had been completely transformed. Economic efficiency had reached levels that made previous capitalist models seem primitive. Resource distribution became so optimized that concepts of scarcity were rapidly becoming historical relics. Jack Harper reflected on their journey during a rare moment of quiet. What had begun in a small, underfunded laboratory had transformed not just human technology, but humanity's understanding of its own potential. The Galactic Consortium's initial approach of potential technological neutralization had transformed into genuine collaboration. Humanity was no longer viewed as a primitive species, but as a critical source of innovative potential. Their algorithm had demonstrated something profound. True intelligence was not about processing power, but about adaptability, creativity, and the capacity to continuously reimagine possibilities. Global education systems were revolutionized. Schools no longer just transferred knowledge. They became collaborative learning environments that could adapt in real time to individual learning capabilities. Educational approaches became as unique as the students themselves. Medical research had transformed beyond recognition. Personalized treatment protocols could be generated in moments, taking into account an individual's complete genetic, environmental, and lifestyle context. Diseases that had been considered incurable were now manageable, with treatment approaches that were as unique as the individuals being treated. We didn't just create an algorithm, Jack told a group of young researchers during a commemorative lecture. We created a new way of understanding intelligence itself. The orbital platform hummed with the collective energy of human and alien researchers, a living testament to the power of collaborative innovation. Technological systems that had once been separate were now interconnected in ways that defied previous understanding. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy, but it had fundamentally changed how the galaxy understood technological and biological potential. The silent revolution was complete, and it was just the beginning. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of this final section?